Welcome back. Now in this video we will create a rounded input field for the email. It's going to be right down in here, and right after that we will create a rounded password field. So it's going to be simply for the password. So let's go ahead and start working on that. First of all, we will create it for the email. So right in the widget, that directory, as you guys can see, widgets, right in here, click and create a new dot file. We're gonna name this as a rounded. Instead of space we will give the underscore, as you guys know already about that, and then we'll say input underscore field. So it's right inside the directory of widgets. There we go, rounded input field dot. So right in here we will have a stateless widget, so write st. There we go with the suggestion, stateless widget. Now we will give the name, as you guys know already, rounded input field. Now we will simply remove that key, that one, remove it, and click in here on the stateless widget, import the library material dot. There we go, where it has been gone. Now we're going to need some variable, but first right in here you will say final is going to be non-changeable, and it's going to be string type, and it's going to be simply for the hint text right in the rounded input field for email. Hint text, and the other one that we will create is going to be simply for the icon data. So we will get the icon in that, create it. Also let's go ahead and create it for the on change. So in here we will say value change, there we go, and less sign and greater sign, and right in the middle it's going to be string type. So in here string, and then we say on change, give the name. So that value change, as you guys can see, string type on change. That's going to simply call back and report that underlying value has changed. You guys will notice that right in the future when we will create a input field for the email, and you guys will notice that in there whenever the user will enter their mail. So it's going to be done on change, and you guys will know that. So don't worry for that. That's why we created that in here. Now let's go ahead and create a constructor for that. So rounded input field, write it and semicolon, and tag this down. In here first we will say required, then we will say this dot hint text. Right after we will say this icon dot icon. Gonna simply get the icon, as I told you already, it's gonna be person. So we will get it for the email, and then we say required this dot on change. Now the next thing that we will do, we will simply now go and create another dart file. It's going to be for the TextField container. Whenever we will be done with that container for the TextField, then we will come back right in here and we will return that container for TextField right in here instead of this container. So first go ahead, write in the widget, create a new dart file, and it's going to be simply for the TextField container. Let us give the name text underscore field, and then we say container. Now in here we will have a stateless widget, so write st. There we go. Now we will give the name text field container. Now we don't need this key, simply delete that, and in here click upon and add the library. There we go. As I told you already, that we will use that text field container right in the rounded input field, right in here in the return. So we have to make this text field container as a child. Okay, so for that, what I'll do in here, we will simply just say final. There's going to be non-changeable, and then we say widget, and then we'll create a child. So in order to use that text field container, writing the rounded input field, writing the return, as I told you already, so we have to make that text field container as a child. Now down in here, let's go ahead and create the constructor for that. So text field container, write it as semicolon, and then tag this down in here. Then we will say required this dot child. Now let's jump right in the container. In here, first we will set the margin for that container. So in here, as usual, we will take the edge insect and we will go with the dot symmetric. Then we will just set the vertical to 10. You guys will notice the design whenever we will complete that and test the app. You guys will notice that for the rounded input field. Okay, and that is just a container for the text field. Let's go ahead. Now we will do some padding. As in suck, we will go again with the symmetric, and this time we will give the horizontal to 20 and the vertical is going to be 2. Now we will set the width, but before that we will create a size right in here. As you guys know already about that, type size object, and then simply what I'll do in here, we will say media query dot of context, and then we say dot size. So it's going to take the size of screen whatever it will be right in the future. So in here, let's create that, and then down in here we will set the width. So in here width, and then the type size object, that width, and we're going to take the 0.8% of the screen, and then simply let's go ahead and do some decoration to make it more beautiful. So in here, box decoration, let's have that widget in here, and let's set the color for that. The color is gonna be, let's go with a white 24. That is fine. And coming here, now let's set the border radius for that. So border radius widget in here, we'll go with the dot circular. We're gonna make it to 29, right, and semicolon. So in here, add the const modifier so your line will be gone then, as you guys can see. Now as I told you already, we will have that input field container as a child. So we created that successfully. Now in here, what we will say child to child, because we are having that text field container as a child, and now we are about to go and use that text field container right in the rounded input field and right in the return right inside the widget belt. Okay, so that's why we created that as child. Okay, so all done for the text field container. Now we will close that from here, and simply in here we will just return it now. So we'll say text field container. There we go. We will remove that child from now, and we will take this down. So let's have the child now in here, and we will have text field, and then we're going to take the on change to on change that we just created before. Okay, that one. So we are having that in here. Now we will just provide the cursor color, so we will go with a teal. Okay, right after, let's set the decoration, input decoration, that widget. Right inside that, let's set the icon. So there we will have the icon to icon that we created before. Okay, which one? That one. We are having that in here. So right after, let's set the color for that. The color is gonna be teal again, and right after, below this icon, comma first, and then we say hint tags, we will provide that. So hint tag is going to be the hint tags that we created. Okay, that one. There we go, the hint tags. Now let's have the border for that. So input border dot none. So the input border dot none, we just tag that. So finally we are done with the rounded input field, and now we are about to go and use that for the email. So we are back in the body, login body. Okay, please don't confuse in that. Let me just show you also right in here. That's the login screen directory, and right inside that we are on dash dot file body dot dot. Now we are having that icon, logo, okay, for the login. So below that, first what I'll do, we will create some size box. So the rounded input field for email gonna be down in here, and there's gonna be some height between them. So below this, in here, we will say size box, and we're gonna have the height, type size jag dot height, and we're going to simply tag 0.03% of the screen, in here comma, and then let's go ahead the rounded input field that we just created before. Click in here and import the library rounded input field dot. Now in there we will provide the hint tags. The hint tag is going to be email. As I told you already, we are creating that for the email. So hint tag is going to be email, and you guys will notice the output just in a while. First let me just complete that and everything will be clear. Now we will provide the icon. The icon is going to be person. Okay, in here you can choose whatever you want, but I'll go with this first one, or let's say this one, just person. And then the on changed. Okay, in here we will have value. So in here curly braces, and tag this down. Now we are about to go and create the controller for email. So whenever the user will enter the email, it's going to be right inside, it's going to be on changed. Okay, whenever the user will enter the email, it's going to be right inside that value. Okay, so the email going to be right inside that, and then we will assign that email, which will be right inside this value. We will assign that right to the controller that we are about to create. Now we will go right at top, and in there let's have that controller. So we will say final, and then we will say text editing controller underscore is going to be private. Okay, only accessible for this specific login body, the screen, and then we say email. Just name this as an email controller. Now we say text editing controller and write it and semicolon. So we are done with the controller for email. Now we are about to go and write down in here. We will say email controller dot tags. It's going to be in form of tags, and then we'll just assign that value right inside this email controller dot tags. Okay, so as I told you already, whenever write an on change, the user will enter their email, their specific email is going to be right inside that value, and we will assign that email which will be right inside that value. Okay, this one we will just assign that email then right to this email controller dot tag. So it's going to be right inside that. I hope it's clear now. So we are done with that, and if you guys didn't hot reload the app, first do that. I have already hot reloaded the app, so there is no need of that to do it again. I will simply just press the Control S, and you guys will notice the input field rounded for email. So Control S, and boom, there we go with the email. Okay, as you guys can see that right in here with the icon, the hint tags, and rounded input field. I was talking about that before. So all of the working that we just already done right inside the input field. Okay, that one, and also the container one, the TextField container, that one. Okay, there's all the working that we just created before, and that's the result right down in here, as you guys can see. And here we have that input field for the email. Okay, all of this. So in here, click in here, there we go. You can enter your mail in here or anything. Okay, like that. So we're gonna have that right in the future, and you can enter your email right in here like that. Okay, so right on change, we just change that to our email, and it's gonna assign that email, okay, right to this value, and that email which is right inside this value, it will be assigned right to this email text controller. I was talking about that. So that's it for this video. This video is getting a little lengthy, so we will work further right from the next video. So see ya right in the next one.